Welcome to the Legal Masterminds podcast. This is where sharp minds meet sharp law. We break down landmark cases, teach strategy, and keep you steps ahead. Whether you are a lawyer, law student, legal intern, or just someone who loves smart conversations. Inside this podcast, we do not just talk law, we unlock it. Want to join the community behind this podcast? Send us a DM. We promise you will love it here. Now let us get into today's case.
This is a summary of Nnaduaka versus Anunobi, a decision of the Supreme Court of Nigeria delivered on the 19th day of July, 2024. In 2014, the respondents, Emmanuel Anunobi and others representing the Umudiaba kindred of Umojona village in Ebonyi, filed a writ at the High Court of Anambra State. They alleged that Nathaniel Nnaduaka and others from Umuji village had trespassed upon family land. The respondents asked the High Court for three things. 1. A declaration that the appellant's land dealings amounted to trespass. 2. A perpetual injunction restraining further interference. 3. Damages of 5 million naira. The appellants responded with a conditional appearance, a statement of defense, and a counterclaim. But most significantly, they raised a preliminary objection. They argued that the suit was statute barred under sections 22, subsection 2, and 36 of the Anambra Limitation Law. They said the claim was brought more than 12 years after the alleged trespass. The High Court of Anambra State agreed. In its ruling delivered in February 2016, Justice Onyefolu dismissed the suit as statute barred. The respondents appealed. The Court of Appeal, Enugu Division, reversed the decision in June 2019. It held that Section 18 of the Limitation Law created an exception for land claims based on customary law. The Court of Appeal set aside the trial court's ruling and ordered the case to be heard afresh. Not satisfied, the appellants brought the matter before the Supreme Court of Nigeria. At the Supreme Court, the appeal was heard by Justice Ademojoro, who delivered the lead judgment. Justices Chidibe Yuwa, Oband Ogbinia, Habib Abiru, and Muhammad Idris concurred. The first issue was a preliminary objection. The respondents argued that ground 1 of the appeal raised a fresh issue not argued at the Court of Appeal. The Supreme Court dismissed this objection. Justice Joro explained that jurisdictional issues can be raised at any stage, including for the first time at the Supreme Court. More importantly, the objection only attacked one ground and left others untouched. That approach, the Supreme Court held, was procedurally insufficient. Citing decisions like APC versus ASIEC, the Supreme Court emphasized that preliminary objections must challenge the entire appeal, not isolated points. Next, the Supreme Court turned to the competence of the appeal itself. The appellants questioned two notices filed at the Court of Appeal. The first, filed in February 2016, was signed by DC Ani for J.R. Nnaduaka and Company. It bore the seal of Nnaduaka Josiah 𝐬𝐴. The second, filed in December 2016, was signed by J.R. Nnaduaka of J.R. Nnaduaka and Company. It bore the seal of Josiah Nnaduaka. The appellants argued that the notices were invalid. First, they said that signing for a law firm breached the Legal Practitioners Act. Second, they claimed the name on the seal did not match the signing lawyer. But the Supreme Court rejected both objections. Justice Joro held that what matters is whether a qualified lawyer signed the process. The identity was clear. The signature was valid. The use of a law firm name, he said, did not override the fact that a legal practitioner was involved. As for the seal, the Supreme Court found that mismatches between name and seal are irregularities, not fatal defects. Referring to Ogunpohim versus Nucleus Ventures, the Supreme Court said these types of technicalities should not defeat substance. The document substantially complied with the perfect endorsement, format, signature, name, representation, and firm. Justice Abiru's concurring opinion further explored how Sections 2 and 24 of the Legal Practitioners Act support a purposive reading. He warned against hypertechnical arguments that obstruct justice. The most consequential issue was whether the claim was barred by the limitation law. The appellants relied on Section 22, subsection 2, which sets a 12-year limit for land recovery actions. But the Supreme Court focused on Section 18, which removes the limit if the claim is based solely on customary law. The respondents had pleaded that the land belonged to them by ancestral inheritance. Their statement of claim traced ownership from time immemorial, disrupted only by conflict in the year 1940. That was enough to invoke the exception. The Supreme Court reaffirmed the rule from Jiro v. Okoroket. At the preliminary stage, jurisdiction must be based on the claimant's pleadings alone. The High Court had wrongly considered the defense and counterclaim. Justice Ogbinia added that applying the law of prescription to customary land was inappropriate. He cited Odekokan v. Hudson, warning against importing English land law concepts into Nigerian customary law. In the end, the Supreme Court dismissed the appeal. It upheld the judgment of the Court of Appeal and remitted the case to the Chief Judge of Anambra State for a fresh trial before another judge. The Supreme Court also awarded cost of 150,000 naira against the appellants.
Hope you enjoyed this case. Now imagine having access to minds that break down the law like this every single week. Why not join our Legal Masterminds community today? We do more than analyze cases. We build legal giants. One thing we promise you, you will stay up to date with Nigerian law, master powerful legal strategies, and connect with people who think just like you. Our next meeting is this coming Saturday at 8 p.m. West African time. We are always prompt, no delays. Send us a DM to join. The seat is yours if you are ready. Till next time, stay learning, stay bold, stay sharp.